Hello, welcome to the Quality Coding stream. I am your coder. Hey, Mudshark, good to have you. My name is John Reed. I am a coach and trainer with Industrial Logic, and this time, I think, don't jinx it, Mudshark, but maybe I'll jinx it. I think maybe we can wrap up this project this time and start something new next time. We will see. Let's see, as folks trickle in, let me just say for those watching after the fact, give this, hit all the buttons to train the algorithms. Like, subscribe, follow, notification, whatever it takes, so that you can follow along as these sessions keep rolling out. And hopefully they are of value to you. And of course, if they're not, well, then you turn them off. That's that easy. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Quick work update is that I'm continuing to work on the microtesting album as well as some other albums. By album, I mean it's an e-learning thing at Industrial Logic that's got an album cover. So basically, it's a course. So I'm working on microtesting for Swift. It's gonna be really, really amazing, and some other courses as well. So stay tuned on that front. Let's see. My my little widget about how many people are in the stream is inaccurate because it says 0, which ain't true. But oh well, I'll have to look at that next time. Well, at least I fixed this, right? Last time I had the sort of debacle about everything going black on me, and now you can see all my links. There's Industrial Logic. There's my book. There's the chat. So here we are, trying to provide a Swift Package Manager version of this tool. And as far as the package itself goes, that's done. We are doing some other things here. So I think I really need to maybe make another sort of, it's like, yeah, that's what we need to do, but we need to release it. New release. I guess, yeah, we're either that or new release goes down here. I don't know. I don't think it much matters. You know what? I'm going to mark it this way. One thing I really like about the discovery tree is how easy it is to say, no, this belongs here, that belongs there. Since I am somewhat blind as far as who all is here, how many folks are present, let me just say welcome. And even my hello thing is not working. Okay. So I need to hook up my little controller to Twitch clearly, but do say hello in the chat and where you are in the world. Had to type it out like a primitive, almost like I used to. But so come on in, say, keep don't let Mudshark be all lonely there. Say hello, check in, even if this is your first time or you're just passing through. And by the way, if you are just passing through or you're just checking it out, feel free to ask in the chat any questions about anything at all. If I don't want to answer it, I won't. But it doesn't have to be related to what the code we are doing or anything. My expertise is around agility and iOS development. Ah, yes. Thank you for folks who are new. Mudshark's over there holding down the Swedish representation of this stream. Cheers, mate. Okay, let's see. So, make internal names Swifty. New release. There's something else I want to do for release. And that's really down here. And what I want to do is, can I offer nicer API for Objective-C folks? We'll take a look at what that means, hopefully. All right, but we are working on making internal names Swifty, making things private. Oh, there's something else. That's how this goes. That's how these trees work. Oh, there's something else that really needs to come in. And it is around. Remember the problem we had with this. For Obj-C, when we're calling this low-level Objective-C runtime function that takes what I thought, I was wrong, I thought it took a static string. It sort of does in Objective-C, but that's sort of misleading. It actually takes an address, a pointer, and it just uses the pointer. It doesn't care about the string. All it wants is an address. And so we need to account for this and say use proper correct key for Obj-C. That's probably good enough. At least all it has to be is good enough for us to understand. Well, these things are adding up. This may be a full hour. Who knows? I won't finish this up. Or maybe, I'll say this is good enough and you don't want to see me actually make a new release. Because the hardest part, we did the hardest part. And this is still sort of part of the hardest part is getting things working in Swift. But let's come back here, because this is what I have still marked as in progress. Make internal names Swifty. And let's start poking around. And at this point, if you see something, say, speak up. If you see a weird name, it's like this is a weird name, but no, that's just a weird name. I don't know. Oh, we were looking at QCO mock stuff last time, the weird prefix. And I think I may have decided to keep it because these aren't just function names. I mean, they are, but importantly, it is an extension on. Come on, where's my, oh, here. Down here, nice thing in app code is it gives breadcrumbs. I think you can move these around and sort of change where it is, but this is the default. You can see that QCO mock preferred style is inside of UI alert controller, and it's an extension. It's an extension on a class. See that little CE there. Because it's not just a function of my own name hidden, but it's an extension inside of UI alert controller. I want to be careful. Of course, all these others are also extensions. I don't know. And it is internal. Like if I change this name, it's not going to break the API in any way. So I'm not sure how I feel about it. What are the chances somebody else is using preferred style and using this at the same time? That's probably pretty low. Okay, I'm talking myself out of it. Let me resize this. Not going to resize? It's only going to get, because I have the font so big, it's only going to get so small. All right, that's okay. I'll put it up there. All right, so last time I looked for anything starting with big QCO mock for project names. Let's see. That's breakpoints. This is deep inside of something else. So I think all we have is the extensions. I don't really think it needs to have such a long name. What do folks usually do for extensions? Like if you extend an existing object, in Objective-C, the classic way to do that was to say this plus that. And I kind of like that, but I kind of want to simplify it and just say maybe extensions. Ideas, open to opinions. And there's nothing in here. Because it's an extension, it's not like the file name matters. All right, let me just try it. Let's see. Like if how's that? I think that's clearer, and that's what I want to do. I want to focus on clarity for the reader. Heck, this was hard for me to get back into after having been away from it for so long. And if you watched the painful progress of this conversion, or you go back and watch it, you'll see me puzzling about like, why do I do this, or what is that? So NSObject plus extensions, or is it NSObject extensions? No, we'll keep the plus. Why did it change these? That must be, it must be because I have Swift format automatically going. Okay, it looks like it just took out some space. All right, so that's just Swift format doing its thing. what I'm debating about now is, do I want to separate that? And the answer is, hey, we're doing this to be, part of this is to be pedantic and to lean into things. What's wrong here? The heck is this shared data? I have no idea what that is, but I'm not going to worry about it. All right, if we go back here, yeah, we can see that it put the brace on the next line, which is kind of funny. Let's do some cleanup. Let me do a little bit of Swift format on things, because that just feels safer to do first. You do lose the information that the extension has to do with the alert. That's an interesting thing. We'll look at that. But first, this is automatic, following Arlo's wonderful notation here. Automatic showed up here. It's an A minus. Let's just go through and do them all. So like if I, can I apply them all across the board? Let's see if I can't do this. Is it code cleanup? Is it, it's an inspection? What I'm trying to do is run Swift format over everything. I could do it from the command line, I suppose. But we are here to learn. I don't think it's cleanup that I want. Analyze. Run inspection. Not entirely sure. Can I go like, and I don't want to that's the wrong reformat. That's the wrong one. There. Did that do anything? Let's find out. If I just put in some weirdo tabs here and go say, show me everything, and then see if I get this right. It's the wrong one. Swift format. Okay, that did do it. All right, that's good to know. So it looks like it was as easy as selecting the files that I want and hitting my shortcut to run Swift format. Okay. So now the names. All that's in here, these are just swizzling methods. There's nothing particular about alert in there. I think the alert was just left over. In fact, it could be NSObject plus swizzling. Heck, they're static functions. They can live anywhere. It's not really a proper extension. It's just giving it a name. These are, I don't want to spend too much time getting into the weeds on irrelevant details that don't matter a whole lot, but you know what I mean? I'm not just adding a new method. So these are just helper methods to do the swizzling for me. So if let's look at the call site. Hello? What's wrong with you? Search. Fine, I'll do search. Okay, so this is what would have to change is if it's able to say self dot, which is also a little funny, except it, okay, I don't want to break things. So I'm gonna limit my scope and not get too crazy here. Let's just do that. And that's just a file name change. I'm going to say that's provable. All right, let's look at these others. So this is, I can pull up the full contents of this, the outline of this. So there's UI alert action plus its additional properties. And I want to give this a better name. So about my first thought is, how about UI alert action? Overrides? Mocking? Thanks for the ideas, by the way. That's always how things go. I work with very clever people, my fellow coaches, and one of them, Ashley, when we're having discussion and things aren't moving forward, he has a great habit. He says, well, let me just put out a proposal. He says, this isn't a good proposal. This is just to unblock us from not having a proposal. And as soon as he puts out a bad one, then everyone's like, oh no, it should be this or that. And that's a good way to unblock things. So I'm just going to start renaming here. In fact, let me just do all these. Naming is one of the hardest parts of the job. There's a whole thing about naming I'd like to explore, and that's Arlo's method about naming, particularly with legacy code, when you don't know what something is. He has a fantastic sequence of taking a bad name and improving it iteratively as a process. All right, I'm going to amend this, say rename files. Okay, I think the files are good. Next is QCO mock. Like, let's just look for these. And let's look in Swift files. You know, I am sorely tempted to just get rid of them all. Now that I've thought about it, I think the odds of somebody else having a very similar name at the same time as they're using my thing is very low. And if it becomes a problem, I can always change the name. So what if I can do this all in one shot and say, get rid of everything that's QCOMock underscore. Let's try. Ooh, that's interesting. But let's try it and see. Whoa, it failed. Okay. Oh, here's why this one fails. Is that it is an addition when there is already a property named popover presentation controller. All right, back out. Can't do it on obj. Let's get back to green and try it again and do it a little more carefully. So, yeah, that's probably a good thought that I should leave the obj ones alone. Let me rerun the search. And let's just take these one at a time then. And instead of, let me try to get this, Shift F6. Shift F6. That should build. No problem. Shift F6. Shift, I gotta get my hands right. I'm really not used to this, but I'm gonna be doing a lot of it. And I'm pretty confident in this. All right, let's check this in. This is renaming using the tool. Simplify method names. All right, let's keep working through this list. Invalid, invalid, invalid. How about QCO mock handler? What even is this? Handler is kind of a funny name. But it returns, I guess not, because it returns a closure. Extra properties handler. And it is inside of UI alert action, so that seems pretty clear. Oh, I did it again. Let me try to get used to this. That's good. I'm going to amend this. Amend. Control Option M. Next. And just work in the search results. I don't need to go to files. Oops, Shift F6. Oh, it won't let me work in the search results. Normally it does, but I guess not for extra refactoring. All right, well, this is starting to look nice. Control Option M. There we go. This is starting to look nice. And hello to anyone. I've lost my viewer count, so I don't know how many folks are here. But hello, if you are here and you've joined in, welcome. And feel free to ask questions about anything, even if it's completely unrelated to what we're doing, which is I'm cleaning up this project. And just say hi in the chat. It's just more fun that way. It's also fun to see where in the world people are. All right, let's keep working through these. Replace class. Okay, so this is the actual swizzling. But it's safe enough. Let's do them both. Cool. You see how I'm able to move around different parts of app code really quickly. I go back to the search results. I'm just used to jumping around. Small steps, small steps. And having the search results update as I go is really helpful because all the places that I've changed no longer match, so they're gone. Swizzled stuff. This is less likely to work. So I'm going to leave this alone. Yeah. Here's another opc one. Opc. More swizzling, opc. What about this? This is the convenience initializer. I doubt I can change this because then it'll clash with the actual initializer. Title, message, and preferred style. Let's see what we got here. Oops, that's NSObject. Title, message, preferred style. Yeah, I'm not going to change this one. Do I want a different name? Mocked with title. Mock with title? Let's just do mock with title. Oop. Try again. That looks good. Right, back to our list. Obj C we skip, swizzled we skip, swizzled, swizzled, obj C. Well, that's looking good. Right, the swizzled ones we can't call I can't name this dismiss view controller because this is going in place of dismiss view controller. I'm taking the existing dismiss view controller and jamming this code in instead. So it needs a different name. Maybe it doesn't need QCO. My 3-letter Q coding thing. How about just mock? Again, trying to go for simplicity. Whoops. Let's start up at the top again and work down and change these to just whoops. Here's a trick. I'm very used to doing Control T for refactor this. It's handy. And maybe I don't need to train myself to learn Shift F6 because it's Control T and it's Enter. It's so fast. On the other hand, it's not bad to learn something new. So what I'm trying to do is when I by habit I do Control T and I stop. This is where if we were coding together and you wanted to learn a new keyboard shortcut, I'd say, you didn't use the keyboard shortcut. Unfortunately, you can't see my fingers, but you can at least see down here what I'm doing. So let me do this and say mock underscore action. That's okay. That's pretty good. Let's try that. That's good. I'm going to start checking these into a separate commit, not with the other ones. Simplify names of swizzled methods. Hello, Scarface, and a first-time chat. Welcome. Glad to have you. Hi, John. Happy to finally catch you live. Your book has answered so many of my questions regarding testing. Thank you. That's always super gratifying to hear. And it was a really big help, so thank you for that. Wow. Lately, I've been going through chapter 4, and I've got a question about how do you go about mocking scene delegate and methods that get called when you run your test in window scene scope. Okay. Great question. So to give a little context for those who for other folks, for the longest time, in order to let me back up one more step. When you are testing an app and you run tests on it, run unit tests on an app, it goes and launches the app, injects the code, injects the test code, and then runs the test code. The problem is that the process of launching the app may usually, your app starts doing something when it launches. And so it starts doing something. At least it fires off code that you really, it's risky to have code fire off when you're not really testing yet, and you just want stuff there so that you can call it. And so the easy way with app delegate, when we lived in a world of app delegates, was to swap out the app delegate and say, don't use the real app delegate, use this other one for testing. That's just bare bones. It does nothing, basically. It may set up just a bare minimum amount of enough so things don't die. This became difficult with scene delegates because to support multiple windows, like on an iPad, because Apple, in order to make that, to optimize that, does caching of stuff. And so even if you swap things out, it's really tricky to get this right. So Scarface, I did put a footnote in. Let's see. Let me go to the right chapter. Chapter 4. All this wonderful stuff about testing the app delegate, which is no longer helpful if you have code that has scene delegates. Let's see. Here. Somewhere in here, I'm just going to point out to you here it is. All right, so here where it's app delegate isn't the only code, blah, blah, blah. Now we have multiple windows, and here's this little tiny footnote with a reference to this post, how to switch your iOS app and scene delegates, that I didn't write. Somebody else wrote this. Here it is. So I haven't tried this lately, but let me put the link in here. Give this a try. It's a little bit complicated, but it used to work. Hopefully it still works. So there you go. Thanks for asking, and thanks for the positive feedback on the book. What could be more gratifying for an author? All right. We don't have anything. Unversioned files. Ooh, this really needs to not be in there. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, I'm just going to delete that. We'll deal with package resolved later. So Scarface, let me know. You can DM me or tweet me to let me know if this works out for you. And really glad you came and had a chance to ask your question. And I am curious, if you don't mind sharing where in the world you are. I'd love to know. Great. Yeah, it's really small, hard to miss. Easy to miss. You know what I mean. All right, let's do some more renaming. And I'm feeling a little more confident, but my tests are so fast. This is a thing about having fast running tests, is that the faster they are, the less you feel like, oh, I'm not going to take the time to run them. In fact, I could just run them again. I heard about a talk that Kent Beck gave, in which he was demonstrating probably TDD or refactoring or something. And so it's in the middle of a talk, he's doing live coding, and every time he walked past his computer, he would run the tests. And even though he hadn't changed anything, and he explained that all he was doing was giving himself a little dopamine hit that it's green, everything's still okay. It's part of being what we oldies call test infected. That is what happens to you when you get into this stuff. You become test infected. Even the word test is something that we are talking about at work. You know what? I'm not going to finish this today. Sheesh. We are already 50 minutes in and just I'm having a ball renaming stuff, and we still have stuff to do. Especially this. Come back next week. All right, let's amend these and see if there's anything more. Probably still a few. There's one. Here's another. This is fairly mindless and soothing, but now I've gotten rid of all those QCOs, the little prefix from Objective-C days. That's good. Okay, am I doing Control-Option-M? Oh, I need to do commit first, then Control-Option-M. All right. I'm feeling good about the renaming. Make internal name Swifty. Is there anything else? I don't know. That's probably the biggest thing. What I can do is bring up the structure view, and we can just kind of go through, see if there's anything really weird in here. No, that looks fine. That looks fine. That looks okay. Replace class method. Oh, that's nicer. View controller was presented. Verify. Mock action. Yeah, I'm just scanning here. So what I'm doing is I'm just reading quickly over these, not for any context, but just looking to see if anything feels like, ooh, you wouldn't do that in Swift. The convenience in it is still a little funny. But maybe it's okay. I mocked out things that are swizzled replacements. That's all fine. Okay, maybe we can get this done. I'm feeling good about this. I'm going to call this done. And with things done, this is really the okay. Let's keep going here. This is really the next thing that intrigues me. Done for now. How much, cleanup does one do? Well, since this is my personal project, it doesn't matter how long I take on it. And you don't want to like just keep refactoring forever. You got to ship stuff. And the great thing is your statement for now. For now. Because code is usually keeps changing as the context changes. There are some things that don't change, particularly Objective-C code. All right, let's use the correct key. Let's see if we can't get this in. And then if I don't get to these other things, it's probably not as important for me to live stream, like the process of making a release. Might be fun to look at the new API. We'll see how I feel. But let's keep going. Using the correct key. So this is a nice tip that I got from a Jonathan Greenspan that I was not aware of. In Swift, let me go to the code in question. All right, so here, for example, let me wrap this. There we go. Whoop. Okay, so here we are calling obj set associated object, and it takes. Are you gonna show me? Come on. You're not gonna show me? Scarface, thanks a lot for your welcoming answer. I'm from Iran. And let me tell you, it's extremely hard to purchase your book here, but I've managed to get a hold of it. Wow. Well, I'm glad you did. Great. And great to have somebody from Iran. Wow, peace to you. And yeah, as an American citizen, sorry for all of the shit that we put on you, that the U.S., the country of the USA has put on you. So if we just go in here, here are the parameters. The object is the object to attach something to. The value is the thing that you're attaching. The key, here it is, unsafe raw pointer. That's what we want to change. So instead of doing this, which is a static var, and saying, let's just use this ampersand. Here's what Jonathan Greenspan has to say, and something I learned. In Swift, ampersand is not address of. And I'm like, what? And I looked it up, and it's not. Apparently, it is just occlude, meaning I'm going to pass this I'm going to pass this by reference, which in all my previous experience means passing it as an address, but that's not necessarily so, because Swift is protecting us from low-level details like addresses and hiding that information from us, so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot like we used to in C and consequently in Objective-C. All it means is that this thing is an in-out. It's passing by reference. So it does not produce a stable address. Instead, declare your Swift key as like this. Unsafe, mutable, raw pointer, allocate a byte. That's all we need is a byte. So let me copy this and let's use it. So here we have Stick it in here. And it can't be private. Can it be file private? It can be file private. Ooh, this probably doesn't need to be public. Well, that's getting back to this other stuff. Make things private. Okay. Stay on target. So I guess my question is, having changed this from a string, actually I don't need to use its address anymore, do I? Because now it's a raw pointer. Let's see if this works. It doesn't build. I'm trying to fix this without typing. I prefer to let the thing do it for me. So there. I can say, make it a var. There we go. But honestly, do I still need that? Hey. I think we have success. Great. And this is what I need. And I'm going to put this in the other places. So this is, for those of you who are new to this notation, it shows, Arlo's commit notation shows the risk of the change. I'll change it back to let just to see if it works. Thank you. Now that we're no longer passing it. Yeah. Thanks. Good. Oh, that's better still. Because yeah, nothing needs to change that. In fact, it needs to stay, It needs to stay the same. That's what we need to guarantee. It was the ampersand that was like, oh, you're passing this as a in out, so I need to be able to change it by definition as something that's in out. But now that we're not doing that, this is the right way to go. Thank you, Mudshark. All right, so in the commit notation, we annotate things not just by like what it is, but how risky it is. And the change I did just now was not automated and not from a published recipe, but my tests did bear it out. So this is capital R as opposed to lowercase r. Lowercase r, very low risk. Capital R, low risk. R exclamation, 2 exclamation points, that's getting more risky. It's still a refactoring, but you know, I don't trust it as much. But this, especially this one, is like, I don't even have tests to say anything about it, but here I do. My tests are good. So this is change associated use correct type for associated object key. All right, this is what we want. In fact, let's look for other The other places that use this. Here's another. So I should be able to swap this out and then go up to where it complains. Now I've got some red marks here. I'll get rid of that. And here's another red mark. That. And that. And we'll run tests. And they're good. Cool. So I'm going to amend this. They're all the same type of change. It's just in different places. So I feel good lumping them together. And that is much better. Now we have for example, get the associated object on self with this key, and it passes a key now that just happens to be the type it needs, a raw pointer. All right. Yay. That feels really good to me. This is done. Oh, let's keep going. I don't feel like even doing this stuff is going to be stream worthy. Unless you want to see me make a release. This might be interesting. Let me show you what this means. If I go to a test of alert verifier, should see, or maybe it's just UI alert, UI view controller. No, it's the alert verifier. Here it is. What am I looking for? Verify. The big monster verify. It verifies all these things. On an alert. The title, the message, whether it was animated, the actions, the preferred style, the presenting view controller. None of this is available in Objective-C. This is a Swift interface, and this is why it is Swift only? No. Actions. An array of actions. Okay. This is why it can't be Objective-C. Boo. I'll have to think about this and come up with something different. But I think I can come up with a different API for Objective-C. The problem is that you want to be able to say, you know, the action for this alert is a cancel, and here's the message. And in Swift, we do this with associated values in enumeration cases like this. Very nice. But they all take the same type, an optional string. So I should be able to pull that out, but I don't want, that feels like something, okay, maybe I do want to explore this next time, after all. Not sure. But we are at time. Looks like I've got enough for maybe another half episode. Or who knows? Things always take a little longer than I expect. Like all that renaming took was more interesting and more thorough than I expected. So let's call it a day. Part of what I try to do on these streams is go an hour-ish, because we all have things to do in our lives besides coding. So with that, thank you for coming. Appreciate your jumping in and asking questions. Yeah, well, dancing around the enum problem should be pretty good, and I should be able to come up with an Objective-C API that works. Oh, coding is life. That's what you mean by well, you know, this is what I do for fun. What can I say? For those of you who are watching after the fact, hey, hit all the algorithm training buttons. And if you don't like what the algorithm gives you, then change the buttons, you know? You can always unsubscribe. But do subscribe and like and do all those things. I will plan to see you next week then. And coding is life. There are other things in life. What else am I going to do today? Like, I've got a bunch of chores to do. That's usually what I do on Saturdays after I do these streams. But for you, it's evening. For many of you, thanks for joining in, and I will see you next time. Take care.